So this is part 2 of I was just in a inpatient hospital connected to my recovery, not hospital, inpatient behavioral health center connected to my recovery center that they've been wanting me to go to for a really long time to get actual stability, actual help, and an actual team together for me, get on the right meds and get the right diagnoses. Wanted me to do this for a really long time to actually get stable, and let me tell you, it fucking worked. Just with the shit I knew I had, and I am on the right meds because I have never felt more like me in my life and so good in my entire life. Now let me explain why. I was saying my psychiatrist, sweetest fucking person I've ever met in my life besides every single other staff I met at this place. When I say there's not a bad fucking person working at this place, so many of them made me cry of happiness just because I felt validated for the first time in my life. Every one of them understood me. Every one of them were willing to sit on my fucking bedroom, my room floor with me for as long as an hour, just listening to me bitch, cry. When I was going through withdrawals, they listened. They took me outside, they hyped me up, they said I'm gonna do great things. They say this is gonna help you so much, you're gonna get through this is just a phase. You're here for a reason, you're safe here. This motherfucker puts 5 packets on the table. Let me go in order, from like most important to least important, kind of, like not necessarily, but when you have bipolar disorder and ADHD, and it's followed by things like OCD, depression, borderline personality disorder, and generalized anxiety disorder, the main things you need to treat are bipolar disorder and ADHD. Because bipolar disorder is a mood disorder, so that matches up with borderline personality disorder. ADHD is a lot about anxiety, and that matches up with obviously generalized anxiety disorder and OCD. Depression is just fucking depression, which matches up with bipolar disorder. So once you treat the main things or get medicated for those things, like bipolar and ADHD, the OCD, the borderline personality disorder, the anxiety disorder, and the borderline personality disorder, they kind of get a lot better because you're treating the main things, feeding them. So I sat down, I looked at those papers, and I automatically knew I fucking have all of these. And I've been in remission from BPD for a few years now. Not nearly as bad as it used to be. I was technically diagnosed bipolar when I was 14 in Hampstead Hospital. Didn't even know what type I had. I just kind of accepted it and went on and was never really treated for it. They put me on antidepressants, and that was what started a living hell for me, because if you're on antidepressants when you have bipolar disorder, it will kill you. And that is what I learned during this. You're not supposed to be on antidepressants when you're bipolar. They will make you insane. They will rewire your brain in a way your brain is not supposed to be rewired. I've been on Prozac most of my life. If I went up on the dose, I got manic. Mania comes with most bipolar disorder. I went off of it completely. I was on 10 milligrams, by the way. I was on the lowest dose. So, like, why the fuck does this make sense? I have no idea. But when I went off of it, I got so bad. I wanted to end my life. And then I started on trazodone when I was probably around 14 as well. I couldn't sleep. I've always had insomnia, even as a baby. Like, everyone told me I was never able to sleep. So they put me on trazodone. The thing about trazodone is when you hit a certain high dose, it turns into an antidepressant. At doses of like 50 to 150, it's just a sleep aid. And when you go higher than 150, it's a fucking antidepressant. And for the last few years, I've been taking 300 to 600. So that's an antidepressant. My psychiatrist was like, we need to take you off this shit immediately because you are definitely rapid cycling through bipolar episodes. And the thing that shocked me the most was she said, obviously bipolar is different for everybody, but an average person a year has 4 bipolar episodes. I have was having about 10 or more a day. And I bawled my eyes out so hard because it made me feel fucking insane. What the fuck is that? So anyway, that's that, right? I'm gonna take you through a couple things. First, let me get something. Brought her the symptoms that matched up. Oh, I have CPTSD too. Didn't mention that. If that wasn't obvious as fucking shit with the shit I've lived through. I checked off every single symptom in that motherfucking packet, and she said, I knew you had that before I even gave you that packet. The amount of trauma you've told me you've lived through, you obviously have complex post-traumatic stress disorder. Anyways, I knew that too. Notebooks I filled in there. I filled about 4 notebooks in there. They ran out of notebooks, and that was one of the reasons. I was like, do you have any more notebooks? And if you don't, can I have lined paper? So they gave me lined paper. I wrote so many fucking notes. They put me on ADHD medication called Vyvanse. Reason I'm able to talk so clearly right now. It saved my life, to be so fucking for real with you. The psychiatrist even said, honestly, Brianna, I think the most helpful thing for you right now is the Vyvanse, because the day before, like 2 days in a row, she took me off the Prozac and the Trazodone the first day I got there. Actually, the Trazodone the first day I got there, and then I was like, why the fuck aren't you giving me my Trazodone? I had no idea why she wasn't giving it to me. And then the second day I was like, I would like my fucking Trazodone, please. I didn't sleep last night. So she gave it back to me. And then I met with her, and then she said, this is the reason why. It's a fucking antidepressant and you're bipolar. So I was like, that's understandable, but please give me something to sleep. So she did. And that was Klonopin. And then that didn't help. So then I was like, can you please up the dose from 1 milligram to 2 milligrams? And this is why I love her. She listens to you. So she did that. And then she also put me on. Propranolol is also a PRN. It's always been a PRN. And then she gave me, what the fuck is it? She gave me Risperidol 0.5. When I take the Risperidol with the Klonopin, it knocks me the fuck out. So I was like, yeah, this is working. And then today, before I left, yesterday, I said, take the Trazodone the fuck out, because when I take all these together, I wake up feeling drunk as fuck and I hate it. I couldn't walk in a straight line. So that's gone. I went from 600 milligrams of Trazodone to none. This is my list of OCD behaviors. That's the first page. This is the second page. This is my ADHD. And then everything else I just said, I have every symptom. She said, yeah. I'm about to run out of time again. I'm just gonna go through my meds real quick. But I will say this changed my fucking life and I'm a different person. I'm gonna make one more video after this because this is the most important thing that happened in my entire life, and I'm telling you that right now.